In Timor, a trip into town to sort out administrative problems quickly turns into an adventure. And that is exactly what is troubling the grandmother of this family. Beyond this emerald forest awaits a road which at one time made the lives of Timorese people easier. But now the tarmac has disappeared and a lack of maintenance has transformed the road into a disastrously dilapidated track. The grandmother of the Dos Santos family is even wondering whether she will survive the journey. It's this kind of errand which Jaime really could do without. With every journey, he becomes less sure of whether his old truck will be able to keep up. The Dos Santos family has now been enduring this trying ordeal for 3 hours. What's more, they have to hurry up as the administration office closes at 1 p.m. This lorry crawling along in the middle of the road isn't exactly helping the situation. If Jaime doesn't speed up, the Dos Santos family and their grandmother risk having gone through 5 hours of torture for nothing. On the Silk Road lies the old Portuguese colony of Timor, wedged between Bali and Australia. After 25 years of merciless war against the Indonesians, the island was cut in two. From above, Timor looks like the stuff of dreams, yet day-to-day life here is far from a dream. For everyone here, the way is paved with sacrifice and hardship. All routes lead to Dili, the capital, but at a price. For an average of €1 a day, the Timorese people fight to survive. Their fatalism and joie de vivre does the rest. And when that's not quite enough, they turn to their faith, left to them by the Portuguese. For the Dos Santos family, the journey is not yet complete. Their grandmother remains stoic and never complains. She has experienced much worse in her long life. For the children, on the other hand, the jolts and shakes of the lorry provide more amusement than a fairground ride. At the end of the 5-hour obstacle course, they finally arrive in Suai, the administrative centre. They're right on time, only to realise they may have endured the journey all for nothing. Apparently, only one person would have needed to attend to sort out the problem with their papers. But nobody stops smiling. Life here is so tough that the Timorese people learn to be philosophical from a very young age. And this young girl knows a thing or two about rain. Timor is often subjected to Mother Nature's wrath, including cyclones and tidal waves. During monsoon season, just like today, the country faces an onslaught of tropical storms. Agostino and Genova are resigned to taking this route despite the risks. They're farmers, and so for them the rain is a blessing, but it also has a downside. They are hoping their journey will take less than 5 hours, but this is looking unlikely.
Tamba moro, tamba huji idanema. Ami harohande te istrada red mam, istrada red. Nebe ami se istrada mansa nemos ami tinggi lori duni moro tinggi baru le huji idane.
They've left their village, Hato Builiko, and are driving to Dili, the capital. It's only 160 kilometres, but in Timor, when the rain plummets down, it's difficult to go faster than 10 kilometres an hour. In the cab, the tension is rising. Agostino's composure is fading away bit by bit. If they don't arrive this evening at the market in Dili, their load of cabbages will instantly be lost, despite all the risks that they've taken to get them there. After 1 hour of bumpy road, they hit their first obstacle.
Alu Spain Saiba Mansaba.
Why? Anda, đây.
Filha vida. Ada kama kesemantika. Si salek lui ba. Salek harap kinai salam. Tahu.
Tapi ini istilah nama gua nih. Aduh ya tuh aing mulu, raibel mulu, mai hadiah di Bali. Sarai gua raibel mulu, tulang elefado, 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 kerja liubai.
In the back of the truck are 3 boys, 1 girl, and only 1 umbrella. But there's no chivalry to be seen.
Na usa la casa. Posi Hato Builiko sai jam 5 sore ni atau kita to Dili jam 11 sore ni.
Dili, the capital, is still around 100 kilometres away, but in Timor, under heavy rainfall, it can take as much as 3 times as long to cover the distance. After 3 hours of the deluge, the weather takes a turn and finally provides a bit of respite.
Udah hela ritme sent maleri. Tanpa udah para aning kona ansa buat sirnemos hena sirnemos ansa maran itu.
Agostinho makes the most of the lull in the rain by driving down some side roads which lead to the surrounding farms. These roads are in an even worse state of repair and could put his truck out of action for several days. But he's committed to his mission. In the valley, he's one of the very few who own a truck. Without him, farmers would not be able to sell their vegetables in the capital. On every farm, his arrival is awaited with anticipation, as if he were the Messiah.
Hodi hauma bafan mercado hat publico. Tutur date. Lori barak ne mak bafan hadile. Ansan lori ba hat publico ne bafan ituan. Kereta lori ne mak bafan dile. Ansan ba serat serne. Si.
Di sini mana boleh ada pani enggak? Terus saya tolak minta dulu.
The next farm is an hour away by road, and the rain has made the path almost impassable.
Ini tak cuma murah barang los, kami tahu kita kan kesulitan banyak. Ini sernet, saya tahu ini kan. Orang nak rasa mati. Terus.
Aras ke TTWS istradawannya.
Kalau beri kita tes ya.
Selori muatan dalam rumah tetap kita.
Sudah turun aras kemana? Aman.
Agostinho often wonders whether the risks he takes are worth it. This next farmer, for example, is known to be a formidable haggler. Every journey, she pushes her luck.
Ahora uso vale 15 ni 10 vale. Ahora pas harganya 20 kurang 15 sama. Apa orang? Ahora yang vale 10. Tapi idane be 9 hat mesti selesai. Kalau memang tahu dia kan tadi. 9 hat mesti selesai. Nama uso vale 20 kurang tu 15 lah kau yang 10 anta los.
Agostinho and his men will have to make up for lost time if they want to reach Dili before nightfall. Their battle is far from over. Further down in the valley, the heavy rain of recent days has caused flooding. It's yet another test for the villagers.
Macam.
Dua jam deh.
Oh, hing hau hene, mai hene ne orastul tian hene. Apa mene orastul tian na. Aku sidok, kabel sidok dito so marang di rekord, marang jak kelem pun.
But for the older inhabitants on the island, these floods provide a way of expanding their land and adding to their food stocks, as this shepherd knows all too well.
Pois kami
ba bol kareta tumba karaik bol hatte te ba doktor sira ne sukutia kala ne sira sukeras la bat ne hanasam tata te hau hanasa kultura ne am gori manu ho fai ho os bua malu ho be osamba taute ne ba hanasam mong durene ba hamulak fali depois kalane label morasliu seda ku halwana sane kalane morasliu.
The Crocodile King is neither a god nor a spirit. He is called Amindo. This man claims to be able to communicate with the fearsome creatures.
The
villagers have entrusted Amindo to keep the crocodiles at a safe distance, but we can't take any unnecessary risks. Before Amindo demonstrates to us his methods, we must first participate in a ritual. Amindo's technique is simple. He shows the crocodiles that he's not scared and that he is the master of the land. But he has nothing to fear. According to him, the crocodiles are part of his family.
You have a Lormunia and Bemalai and Ba, ne depend about your fear. Never which an Twirbe, I'm never Arashene, the Hankataka, Pushi, Abon, my Aman, the Hankatak Batne, Crocodile, Hove, Ikanserene, Emamaka, Nakfilak Ambabe.
A magnificent specimen is lurking close to him. Amindo enters the water fearlessly. On the opposite bank, the crocodile watches him closely. He approaches the beast without hesitation. As if by magic, the crocodile makes its exit, as if fearing Amindo. The Crocodile King. As long as Amindo rules over the land, the villagers are happy. In East Timor, an even more powerful god can be found on all buses. All over, portraits of Jesus are proof of the long Portuguese occupation over this country and its Catholic influence. The image of Christ is also present to reassure drivers and passengers. In Timor, surviving each journey is nothing short of a miracle. Adelino is the conductor of this bus, which serves Dili, the capital. His mission? To fill up the bus by any means necessary. And when there aren't enough passengers, he makes a few exceptions. Until the bus is full, it drives around the city and its suburbs. After an hour, it still hasn't set off on its way. At $3 a ticket, many inhabitants of these poor areas cannot afford to take the bus. Often the roof and seats are occupied by a real hodgepodge of things.
Ami fiar kata pembisiran kan ami biasa bisa kita nang keras nebe ita titipan kan sasaran titipan kan aman.
The bus is finally full, but there remains one thing to be done. As the journey promises to be a long one, Adelino and his driver have a special concoction to help them overcome tiredness. On every market stall, a powder with seemingly miraculous properties is sold. Betel is a cocktail of palm leaf and lime, which vastly reduces fatigue. For those who abuse it, however, Betel leaves its mark.
Imba mama sa imba mate. Amila mama ne moras tora. Ne ami ne kituro nanda asar ne ami mama hela be ami ting ser mama dun. Ane sa servicio ne taba la horas mama. Horas live dia han dia bathroom han hotu mama. Ne ba servicio.
It is certain that too much Betel causes you to lose touch with reality, especially when it comes to refueling. Is it the Betel which causes Adelino to forget the most basic safety regulations? Or is it really the case that people from Timor fear nothing, since Christ is watching over them? The bus has barely set off when it gets stuck at the foot of the mountain. The recent tropical storm proved to be relentless. In two places, the heavy rain has caused landslides on the road, creating a giant traffic jam. Our little blue minibus somehow manages to squeeze through. To make matters worse, a truck has broken down in the middle of the road. Esther Key, its owner, is transferring its goods to another truck which has now arrived.
Ne orsi sasan ni vamos lai mat hola mos lai. Ne orsi dene terlamat hela sasan mos terlamat aga arugitam macet makas. Tambah dene darmu parane sei han dua lai loron tol. This time it's not just a simple breakdown. It looks more serious and it's not going to be easy to fix. Kamu orgalan macet kira susi neba. Susi mawis neba mat. Paano ay neba masam terlamat ini. Ay to ini kusaat kali ini. Istirahat masih lihat. Tambah tidak apa kita sih tatir kene. Cara beroda kahi. Cara. Yang beroda kahi. Not discouraged in the slightest, Esther Key and his team decide to take apart the axle on the side of the road with nothing but a small toolbox. No mean feat. This is what remains of the axle. Ini mah saya
Removing the axle is a delicate operation, to say the least. The truck can no longer rest on its back wheels. The men throw together a ramshackle system which stabilizes the truck, but not for very long. The wood used to stabilize the truck has given way. Everyone tries to keep the truck upright, which proves more dangerous than it does effective. After hours of hard work, the axle is finally removed. A new axle now needs to be found, which isn't exactly easy in the middle of these mountains. The job falls to the rescue vehicle. It's out of the question to abandon the truck for the night. It will be vandalised within hours by nearby residents. A driver volunteers to keep watch whilst they wait for the replacement parts. It's going to be a long night. Living in Timor means survival at all costs, whether in the mountains or on the coast. Like on Atauro Island, which lies 4 hours by boat to the north of Dili. 100 square kilometres of volcanic soil on the Sunda Islands, a mass of rock the size of Paris. It's the same story all over the world. When it comes to going to school, many students drag their feet. But this group of school pupils has a good excuse. There is no public transport to take them to school. They walk 20 kilometres a day, which takes 4 hours overall. On this particular day, they're all the more reluctant as their teacher has given them a task which has tired them out before they even reach school. On the walk to school, each pupil must carry a palm branch. But it's not for their science class or gardening. In fact, it has nothing to do with their education.
I'm just laughing. I'm Tommy Town at Lurba School.
The 500 pupils must rebuild the fence surrounding the school, which was destroyed by the most recent typhoon. But they must have their wits about them. The headmaster is far from being a soft touch.
Atenção, filho, stay up.
The strictness is almost military, but for those falling behind in their academics, this chore allows them to improve their marks. Clearly, this motivates the pupils. The aim is to finish the new fence by the end of the day. Given Timor's current situation, it's clear the state has priorities other than this forgotten school.
Aquela bela rendita esse governo, mas precisa assim ter uma contribuição assim, alunos, assim, família, hadiah.
Tá buka vai, lola mais sira martelo se vai hatu para. Ba, ausir na bani. Mali aisen, lori kai tor sila labela hinga. Lori idar kita mai khalo tali. Nune. Abane sila heta te pa thamo.
5 hours later, the new fence is finally starting to take shape, though it is highly likely the next typhoon will once again tear it apart. The majority of these pupils are the children of fishermen. When school finishes, they immerse themselves not in their homework, but in the sea, in order to help their parents. In order to do this, they need a piece of equipment which only Naor knows how to make.
Tempo itene ama seremos sansene. Poin barak. Persida haru kilat, persida haru. Haru ne benar parahan san. Tengaren tinggi dia kita.
On this beach, it's the harpoon which helps feed the masses. 2 hours later, he gives us a demonstration. All the fishermen on the beach use harpoons made by Naor, and this family is no exception. When in the hands of Mario, this weapon is one of formidable precision.
Ready na bela hasa dal barak kar ikada barak. Ikada barak. Tas luku mas dal barak ladu. So ready. Usa ready ho pakai kilat makde. Ubiduan ready. Timulu dah. Iyalah. Mamil. Sorbe.
Mario and his family are lucky. The sea floors of Atauro have not yet been emptied by overfishing.
Ne dia katu lori bahan aban.
Ne apelangkan mai hola.
Mario doesn't have to go very far to sell his fish. Most of the time, it's the buyers who come to him. Sadly, the same cannot be said for Agostino, who hasn't moved. He still has 100 kilometres to go before he reaches the market in Dili. It's 8 p.m, and it's now been 14 hours since he set off with his load of cabbages and watercress, and there's still no let-up. The truck must take a detour. Morale amongst the passengers is at an all-time low.
Senti stres itu tambah mai to valis dalam kelarang ai palang valis teram senti triste.
It's 9 p.m. and the road to Dili seems endless. In the cab, Jennifer is not losing sight of her goal, to sell her cabbages. But a few kilometres down the road, they hit yet another obstacle. The truck is forced to stop.
Wait! Fildia!
The detour turns out to be a dead end. They must retrace their steps, and it's already 10 p.m. The market closes in an hour.
Hey, let's go!
Around 1 o'clock in the morning, they finally arrive in Dili. It has taken Agostino 21 hours to cover 160 kilometres, but as they've arrived so late, it's very unlikely the market will still be open. Luckily for them, due to the rain, many other trucks have arrived very late. The wholesalers have been waiting patiently. In a corner of the market, dozens of customers are eagerly awaiting the arrival of Agostino's truck. Several minutes later, they storm the truck. Ikung tries to control the situation, but the crowd of customers is too dense. The watercress is passed from man to man in a feverish disorder.
Laya hansa ami hira dulu grow kanene hansa ami sira sosa ami hintura de ami ne mas hansa amno be sekolah ni saya kena mai
Polo
aide ne
Berbahan Andra boleh
dia seher kalangan.
All the watercress has been sold within 10 minutes. It's a record.
Perang langganan secara konten itu enggak. Kalau kita mai tomai ya, kita tomai kalah, kita tu mai ruin kare orang ni tu, orang ni tu na. Ai tu har, lau sistra phone ni.
Sekarang masih kita masih di calling itu kan?
Calling kan. Tambah tadi dikit itu nih tahu barang.
Mau dah hotu tu fang hotu naga.
Ini harus sudah kontrak tu. Mang. Turunnya harus poron deh. 120. Tambah harus surat kena mau. Hah? Kontam santai pun mana loh bos?
Okay.
Saya harus bos.
Obrigado, colega.
Ikun isn't exactly a shrewd haggler. He is quickly persuaded, to the delight of the more cunning, ruthless buyers. When it's time to count up their takings, Jennifer receives a nasty surprise. Jennifer is devastated. Just €100, while she was hoping for 180, which is almost 3 weeks' worth of income. All that patience, all these problems, and all for so little. It's a bitter lesson to learn for these sellers who are slaves to the road. The next morning, glorious weather has returned to Timor. The sun has barely had time to dry out the roads when dozens of trucks descend upon Dili. It's Sunday. Some are transporting a certain animal which could earn them a lot of money. Cockerels. And they're not just ordinary cockerels. They're cockerels which have been trained like athletes. And like all good athletes, before facing its opponents, its coach tries to make sure it's relaxed.
Quando itave la fascina ini kutungiha ba kutuni tau ba ko mostodang asang mahalo ni isi makili kan ni asang habosokan ni tau mason fase beg ni tomo na maliri no le karba kisti.
But Leo and Ursulino aren't taking their cockerel to a beauty contest, despite its impressive appearance. Once it's been dried, the two men are civil servants. Their two-footed champion could double or even triple their salaries in just one afternoon. But to do that, the cockerel must fight. The fights take place in small, discreet arenas. The bets are always made in American dollars, showing the significance of the stakes. They are often dizzyingly high for such a poor country.
Maitan 20, ah pas 50. Lo sana. Finish. Munona ha. Munona kona dalaruan guru. $100. Ohin osana.
By betting $30 from his own pocket, he's just won $180. His friend, however, is less fortunate. He can't find an opponent the same size as his cockerel.
Guru, balik ke barak tuan. 100 sudah kita. 100
The fight is over in 10 seconds. Both Urzilino's cockerel and his dreams have been crushed. He's just wasted 3 weeks' worth of salary in one fell swoop. From deadly roads to devastating rain to poverty, Timor-Leste is holding out hope for brighter days to come. And they may well be just around the corner, as some promising oil deposits have recently been discovered just off the coast of Dili.